Okay, man, let's do this one more time.
I've got you under my skin. I've got you deep in the heart of it.
So deep in my heart that you're really a part of me. And I've got you under my skin. I try so not to give in. I have said to myself, this affair is never gonna go so well.
But why should I try to resist when, baby, I know so well I've got you under my skin. I've sacrificed anything, come what might, for the sake of having you near.
In spite of a warning voice comes in the night and repeats how it shouts in my ear. Don't you know, you fool, you ain't never can win.
Use your mentality, wake up to reality.
But each time I do, just the thought of you makes me stop before I begin.
'Cause I've got you under my skin.
Yeah. Let's go.
Oh yeah. You tell them, Chris.
I would sacrifice anything, come what might, for the sake of having you near.
In spite of a warning voice comes in the night and repeat in my ear. Don't you know, you fool, you never can win.
Yeah, why not use your mentality? Wake up to reality.
But each time I try, just the thought of you makes me stop before I begin. I've got you under my skin.
Yeah, I got you under my skin. Bum. All right, Robert.
Hey,
High five, man.
I did my best.
Well, that's something I really want to hear again and again and again, man.
I would also like to hear that again.
All right, welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the Chris Hansen Conversation. Being mentioned in the same breath as Andy Williams, James Ingram, Luther Vandross, and Johnny Mathis, my guest is the voice behind our favorite national songs, We Are Singapore, One People, One Nation, One Singapore, and Stand Up for Singapore. He is blessed with a rich, velvety, soulful voice that's all about emotional depth and romance. He's our very own local crooner. Please welcome my guest, Robert Fernando. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much.
It's good to see you, man. It's been so long.
It has been 20 years, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Actually, you're right, you know.
Yeah.
Come to think of it, the last time I saw you, I can remember vividly. One time we worked together was in Stunk Studio.
Oh.
Remember this?
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to my world.
Shtung. Yeah.
We did that commercial, remember?
I think so.
And Vera Pass was also there. Will Xavier was also there.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that must have been ages ago, because I can't remember.
There was this girl that we worked with. Her name was Cloda. I still remember her name.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Was she a vocalist? Or?
No, she was, I think she's one of the, she works at the studio for
okay.
Strunk. Yeah. And I think she was directing the entire thing.
She took me was Ricky Hall. Is it?
I don't know. No, Ricky, isn't he Ricky with Yellow Box?
I have no idea. I mean, Ricky was or is. I don't know which one came first. I mean, talking about jingles, I've done countless. Mm-hmm. And this was all mainly in the mid-80s all the way to maybe mid-90s. After that, jingles kind of like died off.
Kind of, yeah.
Kind of, or almost sudden death.
Yeah, you think so? You think is dead now at this time?
I don't know whether it's dead now, but I know back then it died off. I think maybe because radio took over doing all the jingles, so there was no private entity involved in it anymore.
I mean, I do a lot of VOs still. I mean, not a lot though. I mean, AI is taking over a lot now.
Right. I don't do VOs. I just sing for jingles.
Yeah. I hardly sing for jingles. I do a lot of voiceovers though.
Good. At least that way you know where you stay. You know where.
So what you been up to, man?
Nothing much at all. Yeah. Just relaxing and trying to recover from. I have not been taking care of my health, or I kind of used up more than I'm allowed.
Okay.
Yeah. So now I gotta lay back.
So health-wise, not doing too good.
Yeah, you could say that. Energy has kind of died off. All kinds of other complications with modern medicine.
You know something, man? I was trawling through the internet before today, and all I was keying in was Robert Fernando.
All right,
and you know,
must be very little.
No, I wouldn't say that, man. The videos of you performing live on stage, right? I was just sitting there, playback after playback after playback, watching and listening to you, man.
All right.
I tell you,
you've learned nothing.
No.
Yeah.
No, man. No. It's not that I learned nothing.
No, I was just kidding.
You got this unique tone, and that voice was simply magical for me.
Thank you.
You know, as a matter of fact, at the end of this show, at the end of this program, everyone listen up, please. Please don't switch off too early, because we'll be playing a performance by Robert Fernando on the song. What's the Streisand song? The Way We Were. Thank you, Kai. Yeah.
Where did you get that from?
You'd be surprised. And it was so wonderful.
Wow.
I was so thrilled just watching you do that, man.
Those are just old school songs that I grew up with. Don't ask me why I got hooked on all these songs, but the voices were just wow.
But you know something, you got hooked in it. I got hooked in the same kind of songs too.
Yeah.
Just that I can't sing those damn songs. You can.
There were many songs that I got hooked on. I wouldn't know what it's all about, but they were just beautiful voices with beautiful melodies that I just got caught on.
And since we're talking about favorite songs of yours, songs that you got hooked on, if you could take us back to your earliest childhood, what are some of your earliest memories related to music, man?
Related to music or music itself?
Well, you in your relationship with music going way back when, how did it first begin?
We would be going back to 1971 at least.
Oh, wow.
I was 12 or going on 13, I can't remember. And I remember listening to the group Bread.
Okay, Roti.
Roti. But there was no John in the group. Yeah.
There was a David Gates though.
Buka pintu.
Buka pintu makan roti.
Or Make It With You, kind of like.
Yeah, Make It With You, yeah.
Boom, hit me. And this was walking past a coffee shop. that has this rediffusion box.
Yeah. I mean, everyone talks about that box, man.
So it goes on for 24 hours. But of course, when it comes to the Teochew opera and all that, you don't hear it, But when they did play English music, and they played all the current hits way before RTS would be playing anything. Sometimes you will have to wait a couple of months before RTS plays anything on the radio.
Right. Oh.
It's much like British Top 10.
Right.
Yeah, you get to hear it at British Top 10, and then you hope you can listen to it in RTS, and then it takes a couple of months. I may be exaggerating, I don't know, but that's how it felt back then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was my first heart-pounding moment. And then came the song If. That one was intoxicating, the kind of music that wah, 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 wah.
Yeah. The wah, wah.
Yeah, the wah, wah.
Yeah.
And so I got hooked on all these songs. And the only way to get to hear more was to hang around coffee shop and wait for it to come back again, because...
I'm curious, man. Where is this coffee shop?
Toa Payoh.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, Toa Payoh. Just about all coffee shops had rediffusion going on.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
It's just...
That's quite true, huh?
entertainment.
Yeah.
Which you don't find it anymore.
Yeah. Now you need an entertainment license, man, to play this kind of stuff, I suppose.
That's true also, I suppose. Yeah, everything is about money. Anyway, so these are the two songs, and I think they were not too far away from within a year or not. I can't remember. And we didn't have CDs back then.
Okay.
I think they were just about coming out.
Okay.
And if you're not from a well-off situation, you go to a friend's place to listen to vinyl, or whatever it is. And then while they are jamming or learning to play guitar, I used to hang out and just sing along with them, or at least try and sing along with them. And then one day, my late brother-in-law brought in an album, Andy Williams.
Wow.
And that was the first time I heard the song Love Story.
Where do I begin?
Yeah, and that was my love story with that song. It was like, wow, out of this world. I could just, and I think in a way it's kind of good, vinyl, or if it's just sound, you get to visualize. So you hear all the music going around you, the full orchestra.
Right.
And with vinyl, remember, we used to get stereo.
Yeah.
You can hear one on this side, and you can hear the strings on the other side, So you are in the middle, so you can start to visualize that you are singing, and you have the strings on this side and the rhythm section on the other side,
Yeah.
And that kind of like got hooked on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then when that's listening to music and enjoying, strangely, Robert Fernando became the balladeer, and all these stuff that you heard, that you listened to, that you start to love, are all ballads.
Yeah.
So it's always been a thing for you, ballads, huh? So
I have enjoyed rock music, like Deep Purple or Hurrah and Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
But they were short-lived because there was just too much going on, and I don't think I had that kind of voice. They were screaming a lot.
Yeah.
And like Deep Purple, the singer, his voice was
Robert Plant.
Strong.
That's Zeppelin, sorry.
The other guy, Ian something.
Jesus. Yeah.
Ian something.
I got him. My discography is all going haywire now, yeah.
Powerful voice, raspy,
Yeah.
I was too little for that, Couldn't, I was too small for that kind of voice.
So you're saying when you were younger, you were a small guy?
No, I'm saying my voice was small.
Too small. Your voice is
my
too
voice was sweet, so I'm not someone who screams.
Now that's the better adjective there, man.
Yeah,
voice sweet lah, not small lah.
So I wasn't a screamer. So even though I like songs like Burn,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I just couldn't do it live, followed the guys to the jam studio, and then after they'll say, never mind, don't sing.
Right. You started to enjoy ballads when you were younger. How old were you back then, about that time?
You're 12, 13, 14.
When did you actually start singing then?
Late 18, 19.
So not long after, actually, you started singing. How did you get about doing that? How did that happen?
Oh, that's a funny story, actually. Yeah, so the only thing I did was always sing to myself.
Okay.
It was a pastime for me. Like today we have whatever it is, iPod, or on your phone you got your headphone.
Yeah.
Right? And much later on, those days you had your Walkman.
Walkman, yeah.
But prior to all of that, there was nothing.
Nothing, yes, correct.
So long bus rides, I would be singing to myself. Quietly, of course. Otherwise, I'll get kicked out of the bus. I'll just sing to myself whichever song that came to my mind that I enjoyed. And then at the same time, trying to figure out if I got the lyrics right or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then National Service came, and there were plenty of opportunities to sing. Guard duty. Yeah. You sing and you keep yourself awake at night. So that kind of helped.
Let me just rewind that a little bit. You started singing on the bus rides. You started singing to yourself, right?
Or even when I'm walking.
Yeah.
Or running.
But you really didn't toy the idea of how you could hone singing as a skill at that time. No.
Not at all.
Okay.
Never even looked at it as in I have to hone that skill. I just sang because I enjoyed it.
Did anyone else hear you sing to yourself and make any comments or compliments?
Back then, not much.
And how did you
I mean,
know
the only time anyone who made comments was in my family. My siblings might say, tell him to shut up, he's a bit too noisy. And then, and I was glad. I remember this one. I was singing church hymns.
Okay.
And so one of them got annoyed and said, like, shut up or whatever. And my mom was there and said, don't disturb him, he's singing God's song. I was like, yeah. So I sang even louder. Got authority. Okay, yeah, I sang a short while in a church choir full of seniors.
Right.
I was like one or two of the young kids in that choir. And this was while they still were laying the bricks for Risen Christ Church in Toa Payoh.
In Toa Payoh, yeah.
Yeah, so they hired this hall, and they will have Sunday Mass there. And I just joined in the choir. So that enabled me to also kind of like use my voice.
But did you enjoy singing?
Oh, I love singing.
You love singing?
I love singing.
And did you validate for yourself? Since you have siblings that go, hey, shut up, but did you validate for yourself that?
Unfortunately, not.
So there was
not quite.
You didn't know you were good? You didn't know whether you were not that good?
Yeah, I didn't know.
What?
Until I was older and I had people around me who said, what's wrong with you? So when I received the compliment, hey, that's really good, and I go, no lah. I wasn't playing small, but it's like, are you sure?
Because you really couldn't tell whether you were good or not, good enough.
I didn't know.
You didn't know?
I could tell I could sing. Yeah, but I didn't know that others will appreciate that.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't really sing to get validation from people.
Right.
It was just a pastime. It was a joy.
Okay.
Back then when we were younger, we had plenty of time.
Okay. Okay.
We had plenty of time. Journeys on its own was good enough.
Okay.
And I used to play games with myself while I sang, as in trying to sing the song with the intensity of what it should be. but deafening the sound, keeping it really small. So the inside was working for you to produce that sound, but very little came out. And so with buses being noisy,
Right.
windows were all open, wind flying through, so people hardly heard, but that was my...
Right. So it was like trying to control the levels.
I didn't look at it that way.
Okay. It was still a very simplistic thing.
Yeah, I just didn't want to bother anyone or for someone to think I'm wacko or nuts, you know. I mean, and you know, we do live in diverse societies, so not everybody would like English songs,
yeah.
You know. Maybe if I sang in Hokkien, but then again, they'll still think you're wacko. Yeah. So I did that. And when I was in the army, I'll go for jogs. And, of course, during basic training, when we all had that full battle order, and you run, and you had songs like, "Where's Your Mama Gone?" You know, so I used to kind of like lead.
Okay.
And so running and singing, that gave me more energy, more air, which again, I never knew that's what I was doing.
Okay.
Not until my 30s, someone told me that. It was like, wow, you actually started training way back then.
But unwittingly so, lah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it wasn't until when I was in national service, on a Saturday, I remember, or was it a Sunday? Anyway, there's this guy, friend, not very close friend, but we all kind of like jammed in the group together. You know, and one day he came to me and he said he saw this newspaper article in New Nation that there's an audition happening.
Okay.
A couple of weeks from the date that he told me, and whether I would like to go.
Okay.
And he said in that it stated that, you know, if you can sing, dance, or simple steps or whatever, be a cast member of a musical.
Okay.
So when I heard dance, I go, no way. Man, you know, I don't know why.
No, me too. I would go no way too. Yeah, don't worry about that.
So I said, no, dancing, nah, not my thing. You know? So he kept pestering me. And then finally he said, why don't you just come along? Because he needed support.
Right.
Or at least that's what I thought I was doing. So we went to Plaza Singapura. There was this unit there. And they had a piano there.
Right.
And this person who received us at the door took the details, you know. What's your name, where you stay, and all those kind of stuff. And then when he gave his details, she came to me and I said, no, I'm just accompanying him. And this guy, he can sing as well. You should get him to sing. And so she said, do you want to try? I said, no. She said, why not? You know, what's wrong? I said, no, dancing, I'm not into it. Yeah. And then she said, never mind, just give me your details. And when everybody gathers and when the audition begins, you decide whether you want to go through it or not.
Okay.
So, I gave my details. And the rest of the people started gathering. And true enough, audition came on. And there was this choreographer from MTC. You know, I guess he was helping out. And so he called on, and then very few people dared to go up. And then he said, no, don't worry. The steps are super simple. All you have to do is, if you think you can do that, come over. So I looked at it and go, hey, not so bad. So I went and just did those simple, and then the what do you call that, square or something, you know, where you cross your leg. And so that was fine too. And then came to vocal audition.
Right.
Nervous. Voice shaky, a bit like now. And so I can't remember what song. I think I did Maria from West Side Story.
Okay. Wow. Wow.
And then 18 years old. And then that was it. We went back. I was kind of glad I went along, and it's like, hey, it's not so bad, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, never thought of anything.
Okay.
So 2 weeks later, I get a letter in the mail. It says, congratulations, you've been selected. I'm still in national service. Huh? You've been selected, and rehearsals, or we will meet on this date, and then we'll work down to rehearsals. More will be told to you when we all get together.
Right.
And we're supposed to meet at ECA Center in Farrer Park.
Okay.
Right. So I immediately got excited. And then I called this friend of mine. And I said, yeah, we got the letter. So can we meet at this date, and then, can we meet here, and then we can go together, because I don't know where it is. And then he said, what letter?
He didn't get a letter. Oh my goodness. So the unintended person, the one that was not willing
Reluctant,
to go, he got casted.
Yeah.
And what was this musical for? What was that?
It was for charity.
What was
So
it? It was an original musical.
No. It was just musical, as in songs from all musicals.
Okay.
Again, so it was called Stardust, the musical.
Oh, Stardust.
That's the first time I heard Stardust. Again, Stardust, the musical. And it was for the Breadline Group.
Right.
So that was my ever first charity event that I was involved. And we had a lot of notable people in that cast.
May I ask you, Robert,
Yeah.
what year was Stardust?
1978.
78. Okay.
The actual event was 1978, but I think we started in 77 with the rehearsals and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Took quite a while.
Okay.
Because it was like, if I would guess, maybe about 40, 50 people involved.
Yeah, I remember Stardust, but not in 78. I think they may have done it again. Years later, when I was older.
Like how much older?
I guess I must have been maybe about 17, 18. I remember that
How old are you?
I am 55.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm 11.
78, I was in primary 2.
What month were you born?
April.
April.
This
so
month.
you just turned
just turned
55.
55,
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, but no CPF.
Yeah, correct, yeah.
What a bummer it was.
I know.
I know. I waited all my life to be 55, and then
Yeah, I know what you mean.
anyway, I'm 66 now.
Yeah, I kind of guessed that.
Was it the hair?
No, it was just the timelines.
Or
that
the
you were talking
wrinkle.
about. All the timelines that you mentioned earlier on. So I sort of guessed it. About,
Wonderful.
10, 11 years older than
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
So it makes it 11.
Yeah. Makes it 11.
Yeah. So anyway,
So how did it go, Stardust, for you?
so that's how the musical went. So, and I met a lot of wonderful people there, whom we are still friends up to today. Most of them, not all. It was produced by Patricia Chan.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Pat Chan.
Yep. And we had Jacinta. I think Xiao Chong was there. Siva Choi was there.
Wow.
David Wilson. A lot of people. And majority of them were from, what was that? Time periodicals or Straight Times.
Right.
Yeah. So we did this musical, and that was fun. Late teens, full of energy, met a lot of new people, met a lot of new friends. Mo Alcott was in there as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
And shout out to Mo. Hey, Mo.
Yeah. Hey, Mo. Yeah, that's where I first met Mo. And much later on, I had Pat, Chan, and Jacinta who mentored me.
Okay.
Yeah. So from that musical, everything was fine. We finished. And so Pat came to ask me if I would like to join their group called Stardust.
Oh,
Now you connect, huh?
So, wait, Stardust, Jerry Rezel was in the group too, right? Right. Yes.
Yep.
And you guys still meet up, don't you, at Pat Chan's house?
Yeah, I mean, we did with Jeremy. That was kind of like a reunion after more than 30 years or thereabout.
Okay.
Yeah. So
you were with Stardust as well.
That the kickstart of everything for me was with the kickstart of Stardust.
Stardust, the band, the group.
Stardust, the vocal group.
Yeah, the vocal group. Yeah, wow.
We didn't have a band, but we always had musicians to
back you guys
back
up.
us
Yeah.
up. Yeah, so we were the vocal group.
So when you say that Pat Chan and Jacinta mentored you, can you define for me in your words what the mentoring was like for you?
Well, I was very raw. You know, this whole scene was completely new to me.
Okay. Because you were still a teen, actually.
Yeah, late teens.
Yeah.
And a lot of the songs that they had in mind to sing, many of them I did not hear. I may have heard them on TV, you know, old movies and stuff like that, but never really paid too much attention to it, let alone sing, you know. So we did songs like Lullaby Up Broadway.
Wow.
Yeah. I heard the instrumental piece of this, but not so much the vocals.
Yeah.
So all that I learned, or they taught me, diction, and what I still cannot learn is timing. I'm still bad. I don't know. That's fine. So I don't play any instruments. I never took up music and stuff like that. I just wanted to sing.
So no formal training, nothing like that.
No. So I just wanted to sing. All I wanted to do was just sing. Give me a song to sing. And sometimes with the band, I may take hours to learn how to do it because I keep making the same mistake. It's so ingrained in my mind. And, you know, when I was younger, I used to listen to, let's say, Andy Williams, for instance, and the way it was arranged for him instrumentally.
Right.
And I pick up all the little markers.
Okay.
Still don't know how to count, but I'll pick up where the saxophone come in and, this is where you start singing.
Okay.
Right. But if another band were to play that and it's completely different, I'm lost.
Okay.
Because I have it ingrained in my brain.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you, you know, let's take an example of Just Once.
Okay.
I've sung it 1,000 times. But if someone did some fancy intro to that song, I'll be standing there and just looking at you.
You know what? Don't worry, man. I think this is, can I call it the curse of singers?
Not really the curse. I mean,
I'm there too, man. I mean, I tell bands I don't know.
If we're untrained, then that's what happens.
Exactly. So I tell bands I don't know. If people call me up, Chris, go jam with a band, you know, and I get dragged out on stage, right? I go, who the hell are these guys? You know, they may be good bands, and probably are,
In fact,
But then again, when they start with an intro that I don't get, you know what I say to them? Guys, keep playing the damn bars and just tell me when to come in.
You even know what a bar is. I only worked at the bar. Yeah.
So that's, do you still have that same issue today?
Yeah, I still do.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
But just once, man, the first time I saw Robert Fernando was on TV. Very first time, before I
Okay.
even met you personally, man.
I don't think so. I ever sang that song.
You
On
did.
TV, I did.
You did.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I remember it like bloody yesterday, man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I went, who the hell is this guy? Why is he singing my song?
Your song? Wow.
I'm only kidding.
No.
I'm only kidding.
Yeah.
But I start admiration, man. I was saying, shit, how does he sound like that?
It is a difficult song.
It is very difficult.
very difficult.
Yeah. And I said, how does this guy sound like that? And you've met James Ingram before, haven't you?
Oh, yeah.
And two of you guys are friends.
Yeah.
I hate to say this, we're friends.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah. I met you at his concert. Remember? When he came to Singapore, the Esplanade?
The last one.
Yeah.
That was the last one. Yeah.
And that concert, man, my wife and I, we were there and we were basically driven to tears.
Yeah.
Because he came off that stage in such a simple setup.
Yep.
He had backup singers, so there's three of them.
Yeah.
I think he had a 6-piece band on stage.
Yeah.
Right? That was it.
Yeah. Very simple setup.
Very simple. And the man got off the stage and he shook each and every one of the audience hands.
Yeah.
Each and every one. And while singing
Yeah.
and repeating this, looping the same bar over and over and over again. And I'm like, you're
I know.
kidding me, right?
What a show off, right? What a show off. I mean, he was doing push up while he was singing on stage. Do you remember that?
I think
He put the mic on the floor and then he did push up and then he was singing. He's super fit.
Yeah.
I remember there was once we sat and chit-chatted. This was much earlier before that last concert. And we chatted till about 4 a.m. in the morning
Wow. Where was this?
in the hotel lobby at Conrad.
Okay.
And then he says, okay. He calls me nigger. That's a privilege and honor.
He calls you nigger.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, when it comes from him, I say thank you. Nobody has ever called me nigger before. Mama a lot.
But he could have gotten my nigger.
Anyway, he says, I got to go. He's going to get a quick nap. And then at 7, he's going to go to the National Stadium
For a run.
for a run.
Holy crap.
I was like,
The fuck?
wow.
Julio Iglesias has the same habit,
Oh, really?
Yeah, he
Wonderful.
runs like 4 clicks a day.
That's
Yeah.
something I should have been doing. But
No.
but I don't get paid millions to do that stuff.
That's also
That's the problem. With us, we have to have a steady income. We have to get employed, And unfortunately, that's the direction I went because during my days, everybody said Singapore is for hopeless people or, you're never going to make it. There's nothing good going to come out of you. So singing always, I put it aside and became a hobby.
Okay.
It was actually quite a good paying hobby,
Okay.
So, which is why I got into other industries doing the normal thing like everybody else does.
Right. You got a job, but still working on craft still.
Yeah.
Yeah. But let's go back to that.
And also the other reason why I ended up doing that is that I wanted to sing the songs that I enjoy.
Okay. But let's go back a little bit. Stardust. Let's go back to that. So you realized that you have a timing issue. And what happened after Stardust? How did Robert Fernando become Robert Fernando solo?
While I was still with Stardust, it's just that I started getting more recognition. And so TV producers called me over, not all together, but one at a time. I suppose that's why they're out there once they identify raw talent or new talent. And so I got the opportunity to go on TV.
But back in those days, like what, I had lots of other guys that came on the show that I paid tribute to. Like this show, I'm paying tribute to you, Robert.
Ooh.
Yeah, I am. I mean, I even had Will Xavier here I paid tribute to. So X was here. And Mel Ferdinand was here. Stephen Francis was here, and Rob Collins. Jerry Montero, 2 weekends ago, he was sitting in your chair.
Awesome.
And, some of these guys, when we talk about music back in the day, the media broadcaster of the day.
Yeah. There was only one.
Yeah. I'm being very politically correct. I don't know why I'm being so... fuck that. Okay.
Yeah.
So the broadcaster, the only one we've got, spots talent outside on either private gigs or in clubs or bars.
Yeah.
And they invite them to come in front of cameras in their studios and, and shoot them, right? And they come on our screens.
Variety shows.
Which was great because we start to realize who's who. If not for that, I would not have known who Robert Fernando is. And I saw you coming on that screen. I was like, oh boy. Now to me, I was thinking, I can never sound like that guy.
Oh,
really,
okay.
because, dude, it's so unique. Your tone is so unique.
Wow.
It's remarkable. Yeah, I sat there and I was gobsmacked. I said, fuck, where'd that come from? And it was brilliant, mate.
Wow.
It was so brilliant. That's why you seated in my studio in front of me.
Wow.
Because
I never knew that. I knew I could sing. And I get people who tell me, you're good.
Yeah.
And that's about all.
So how did you actually get, to meet or even get to know or get James Ingram to know you?
Oh, I've been very fortunate all through my life.
Okay.
Very, very fortunate, and I'm very grateful for that. I have a friend, Bunny Farrow.
Oh, wow.
Right. I hired him to play in Cheers.
Okay.
Yeah, I was managing Cheers. I kickstarted Cheers with the singing waiters.
Everybody knows Robert and Cheers. Yes. Yeah.
So Bunny then moved on, went to Java Jive.
Right.
Which is where the birth of Jive Talking came.
Yeah.
Right? And then from there he went to hard rock.
Yeah.
So Bunny knows I love James Ingram's songs. And so one day he got wind James Ingram is coming over after his show. And
to hard rock.
Yeah, coming over to hard rock. And so he called me and said, hey, do you want to meet James Ingram? I was like, well, he's coming over at about 10 or 11, I can't remember. He says, come on over. Then you can sit down and chit-chat with him. Because there were other... You know the Lion's Den in the Hard Rock Cafe?
Yeah.
The one upstairs, which is usually like the green room for international artists. So I went there, got introduced to him. Of course, I was shaking. I was like, wow, my idol. And then we sat around the table. Everybody's chit-chatting and everybody's taking picture. And he was so super cool. I mean, he accommodated everyone. And he always had something to say about something.
Mm-hmm.
And so here I pick up my cigarette, and I light the cigarette, and he looks at me and says, are you married? I said, yeah. Do you have kids? I said, yeah. And in that moment, he rings out the song 100 Ways.
Oh.
He's telling me 100 ways to quit smoking or why I should quit
Chris smoking, yeah.
I should have listened to him. Yeah. So from then we kind of like, again, I said I was grateful. I had connections with people in the industry.
Yeah, but
And they all knew that
yeah.
outside of James Ingram, no one else sings James Ingram's song.
Yeah.
Or what they tell me is that no one else outside of James Ingram in Singapore sings like you.
Yeah.
You know, do justice to the song. And so whenever James Ingram is coming in, either for a media event or a concert, I get wind of it. And so a couple of times it happens, so the face becomes recognizable. And his wife also enjoyed my company. And we exchange emails, we exchange phone numbers. Nothing much was used from it. I mean, when he goes back to the States and that's it, I don't see him until he come back here.
Yeah.
Because he did a lot of, every year he would go to Philippines on Valentine's Day.
Okay.
So he will do concerts, and once in a while, someone will swing him into Singapore.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's how we kind of like got close. Had the opportunity to mingle with him, whether on or off stage. I mean, like that concert where you came. After the concert, we were all in the dressing room. You know, and then from there we all went to.
Wow.
I can't remember. I think it was Conrad Hotel again, and Joshua Wan was playing in one of the outlets there. And so I told James, I said, hey, you got to meet my friend. And James had this little video camera that was going to document all his experience in Singapore. And Joshua, the minute he saw James Ingram, he was like, whoa, and started playing the intro for Just Once. And James Ingram immediately sat next to Joshua and started singing. And so I took over the camera and recorded the two of them. Joshua Wan was blown away.
Like, who wouldn't be?
Yeah.
Who wouldn't be?
So that's the interactions we've had. Yeah, so it was heartbreaking when I found out he passed away.
How much would you say that James Ingram?
Sorry?
Would you say that James Ingram is your biggest influence?
No.
In your style, the style that governs the style of your singing?
Andy Williams.
Andy Williams. Okay.
Oh, the funny thing is that the first time, like when I met James Ingram, or was it the second time, I can't remember, also in Hard Rock, we jammed. And then someone told him that this guy can sing as well. And so, of course, I got dragged up.
Okay.
And here they were going to sing Yamobi there.
Okay.
In normal terms, I would have been super excited. But for this, I couldn't, because I've always replicated James Ingram.
Not Michael McDonald.
Not Michael McDonald.
Yeah.
And so here I am on stage with James Ingram. And then I got to do Michael McDonald.
Oh, boy.
Which I was like...
Yeah. I don't blame you. I really don't. Yeah.
So I did my very best. So that's why I have to sing. I did my best.
But was it good enough?
Definitely not.
So how did it bomb or did it go well?
Well, it was all right. I mean, from my perspective, it was all right. From James. Yeah.
But why Andy Williams, Robert?
Sorry?
Why Andy Williams?
Well, I kind of grew up with it, like I told you with the love story. His voice was just so soothing and
So damn hard.
And
so hard to replicate, man.
But I never knew then, you see.
Okay.
I never knew then. I just heard his voice and it was so silky smooth and gentle. and calming, like the voice of God. I don't know if God got voice or not.
I'm sure he's got a voice now.
Okay, I haven't been close enough with him to hear. I know a lot of pastors, they say, God spoke to me. Often wonder how come God don't speak to anybody else. But anyway, I wonder if we ever had the Pope say God spoke to me.
Well, he never ever said that.
Yeah. So how do all these preachers say God spoke
I have
to
no
me?
clue, but I don't remember in my lifetime any of our popes ever said that.
Okay. Anyway, so Andy Williams to me at that time, 12, 13, 14, from that one album I picked up and I heard every single song in that album, and I would play it over and over and over. And then when I was older enough, I would go out and buy more Andy Williams records.
Your all-time favorite Andy Williams song, which one?
Maria.
Wow.
But I can't sing anymore. Yeah, it kick-started with Love Story, and then after that it went to Andy Williams' version of Maria.
Okay.
You should take a listen to it.
Yeah, I have not heard it.
Yeah.
I've not heard this version.
Oh, man.
Okay. I'll do that right later,
So
right after the shoot.
Andy Williams was the ultimate. And then, of course, as I got older, in my early 20s, you had Kool and the Gang and disco and all that kind of stuff. So
A little bit of funk, a little bit of,
I remember in my neighborhood, once in a while, whenever we have a hi-fi system, people will boast about their hi-fi system.
Yeah.
You go to this guy's house and listen to the records and boom, boom, it's like, wow. And then one day they came to my place and all I had was Andy Williams, and they left.
And they left.
Yeah. They left soon after they saw the place and nice. My record collection didn't keep them long enough. They left.
Yeah, it is kind of odd to have a young guy with loads of Andy Williams albums. Yeah.
It was odd. So I have like a dozen of his albums.
You worked in the music scene as well.
Yeah.
Am I right that you were managing Cheers at the old Novotel Lockett Inn?
Yep.
And then I became a regular, by the way.
You were? After I left.
After you left.
Alamak.
When Spencer Gohawk played there with Anne Weerapass and, Jimmy Lee, right?
Yep.
And then you went to work in Hard Rock. Oh,
yeah.
That's why you were always there, because you were working there. Right?
Yeah.
You were managing the job.
Oh, but I was in Hard Rock hanging out a few times here and there because Bunny Farouk.
Yeah.
Right. And another manager, Jumat.
Fantastic singer, Bunny Farouk.
Jumat was there as well.
Yeah.
But I didn't start until 1994.
Yep. Thereabouts, yes.
Yeah, thereabouts. So I left Cheers at about 19. I only stayed in Cheers less than 2 years. Conflict management. And so I left, and by that time Cheers was kind of like slowing down, and the new management called me back and said, hey, we would like you to help us. You think you can bring it back again and whatever.
Right.
But I named my price, they couldn't afford it. So, then a couple of years later, I went to Hard Rock.
That must have been somewhere about, mid-90s?
1994.
That's where I saw you. 93, I was in Cheers.
I mean, everybody who can see me, if that's the venue I'm working at. Yeah. I didn't have to go out and meet people. They all came.
Yeah.
They all came. But Cheers was wonderful. It was a totally brand new concept. You had Jeffrey, who joined Jive Talking.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
He was with us. And then Kumar. There was this other wonderful singer, Rani Powerbank. She used to do all the Whitney Houston songs. So she was awesome. So I had some great fun there.
Wow.
I mean, for a place where some taxi drivers couldn't pronounce Novotel, they would actually say, "What? No hotel?" Yeah.
No hotel.
And it's all the way at Bukit Timah, which is completely off the grid of nightlife.
Yeah.
But we were packed every night.
Yeah, Cheers was very popular back then. How did you end up singing all these iconic national numbers? We are Singapore, one people, one nation, one Singapore, stand up Singapore.
I didn't apply for it. Just
How did it happen?
well, we're all in the same circle, right? Jeremy was the one who produced all of this.
Right.
Yeah, he recorded all of this.
Right.
Jeremy, when we first started with Stardust to perform for charity events, Jeremy was the keyboard player or pianist.
So it's all the collaborations over the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they pick up on, okay, who can I use for this? Who can I use for that?
Right.
Because Stephen Francis was also in all. In fact, there was this group of regular faces, like Stephen Francis and Vera Paz, I think Karen Xavier,
Right.
myself, and Hussein, or Linda Elizabeth.
Yeah.
We do all the ooh-ahs, to make it sound like there are 100 people singing out there.
But you did do some stuff for Singapore, for STB.
Yeah.
You also organize singers
Well,
to go and perform for Singapore to other countries.
I did a few times, not completely, but we did a few times. But I was engaged first in 1989 or 1990, together with the late Iskandar.
Yeah.
Joshua was there, also Joshua Wan, Rosie Ryan, Jean Yip, and quite a lot of few.
Jean Yip or Don Yip?
Don Yip.
Yeah.
The same group of local talents. Why do I say local?
It's really strange. You know why? How did I get into that mix? Because
Which mix?
you called me up.
Where?
You called me up. It was so funny. I was very young. I was probably in my
we've already established that, how young you are. You're definitely 11 years younger
early
than
20s, very early 20s. And I was still living with my mom. And I think I just started work after NS, just started work. And I carried my dad's pager with me.
Okay.
And you paged me. Yeah, and I remember the conversation like it was yesterday. I called you up from my mom's home.
Okay.
And you said, Chris, would you be interested to perform in Singapore?
Perform?
STB.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was like, whoa! First, Robert Fernando was asking me. Second, wow, for my country. Third, okay, they pay me peanuts. Next is like the bit that made me say no. Where are we gonna go to perform?
Okay.
I was like hoping for some cool ass country somewhere in the world. No, Chris, you're going to go to Karachi. Fuck that.
Okay.
And I went,
Oh, gee.
no, man, I'm not going to go to Karachi.
I don't remember, I don't recall everything that you have said at all.
Yeah.
But I do know Karachi because I went to Karachi.
Yeah, I know you went to Karachi.
Yeah.
But you did ask me if I could go with you guys.
Yeah. So it was a great experience in Karachi. Because it definitely wasn't a country that you would say, hey, let's go for a holiday, to Karachi.
Yeah.
So I appreciated all of these countries that I went that I would normally wouldn't.
Okay. I sound like a real entitled piece of shit, but let me just say this. My mom, although I was already a working adult, right? My mom was going, no, you're not going to go to Karachi.
What a waste.
So I wouldn't call it a waste. It was just maybe
not meant to be.
Not meant to be. Yeah.
Not meant to be because maybe you were not ready either.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
So I did a lot. We did Canada, the whole of Canada. We did Dubai, Bahrain, Karachi. We did the whole of
Okay lah,
India.
Dubai, Bahrain, call me lah.
It was all in one in Dubai, Bahrain, Karachi.
Okay.
Yeah. So quite a lot of countries. New Zealand.
That one called me lah. You see?
No lah. Once if you say no, cannot, then usually in this business you scratch the name out.
Okay, let's say cancel the bus it out.
You don't waste time anymore. You see,
Cancel culture existed way back when.
It's like if I were to not want to do your show today, you go, okay, cancel the bugger out. Hey, but then no, you called me last year.
I did.
Was it in October or something?
Somewhere there, yeah.
Which I said, no, I don't want.
Yeah. And I still pursued you no matter what, man. Because I'm persistent as hell.
Insurance boy.
Oh, let's not go to that direction.
They all learn to be thick-skinned.
No, I've always been thick-skinned, man. But anyway.
Yeah. So I did all the tourism board, as in not entirely on my own, but I participated in. People who called me want to hire me, and if it suits the price, if it suits the price, like, I didn't care which country we're going to go for.
Right.
Right. Because they were all wonderful anyway. You get to fly, back then, you get to fly in SIA. Mm-hmm. You get to stay in first class hotels. Mm-hmm. You get a very decent fee. Mm-hmm. Fee, not per diem. Mm-hmm. Today they will tell you it's per diem. Mm-hmm. But they gave you a fee, food was covered. And they even brought us for tours. Mm-hmm. Like in Canada, in Vancouver, we went up to the Gross Mountain, played with snow and stuff like that. And then in Toronto, we went to Niagara Falls.
You're doing this deliberately.
No. It's a fact.
Okay, Chris, one back at you.
It's a prank. But that was before the Karachi. Yeah, because after that things changed, and then after that, when things change and it becomes too much of a cost-effective trip, I would say, no, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, because you have to take leave to go for all.
Yeah, precisely, man. Cost, opportunity cost. Two more little questions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Since you besides being a singer, besides being a performer, and also managing Cheers and hard rock, you've been through the night scene. You evolved part of that bit of the night scene through Cheers and the concept that you brought to Cheers. Now, if you look at how things are like today, I don't know whether or not you would believe that you're still very much in touch with the night scene here in Singapore. What's your opinion of the night scene in Singapore these days?
To be honest, unfortunately, I'm no longer in touch with the night scene today.
Okay.
Yeah, completely lost.
Do you have an opinion at all about it?
No, none at all, because it's a completely different era.
Okay.
So you cannot use that as a comparison. Mm-hmm. Completely different era. All I know is that if people are struggling today running a business and people earning power is way much higher than if you're talking about the 80s and the 90s, it baffles me. How did people make so much money back then? I mean, in hard rock, monthly revenue, okay, of course it's food, beverage, and merchandise.
Right.
You're talking about $1 million a month.
What?
Mm-hmm. You better show your face to the camera with your what?
What? Okay.
So this was in the early 90s. Okay.
So much money, yeah.
I mean, the place was jam-packed all the time.
Yeah, I know that, but $1 million a month is crazy.
Well, merchandise mainly is tourists, but of course locals also bought all the merchandise. But just food and beverage, and drinks, like F&B, that makes up 2/3 of what the yearly
of course,
is.
yeah, of course, yeah. Wow, wow.
And that was more local spending.
Yeah. But way back
So
when.
if we had a salary of, say, $1,000 a month or $800,000 a month, somehow we had more money to spend.
We had greater spending power.
Yeah.
But also because people way back when, people like me spending at a Hard Rock, it's just one outlet, right? We enjoyed good music. We enjoyed the party.
Yeah.
We enjoyed the party.
Well, yeah. I mean, all
we loved
throughout.
the party, man.
All throughout, even people in the 60s and 70s, the cover charge was like, I remember while I was still in national service, I went to Lost Horizon.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. The Experiment was playing.
Yeah.
Right. It was $25 cover charge.
There's no more cover charges these days, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But $25. But it was wow enough for people to say, okay, I want to spend $25.
Yeah, we'll pay that money.
Yeah. So Hard Rock was the same also. We had cover charge.
Right.
Inclusive of one drink, but people said, hey, that place is wow, it's worth paying.
Yeah.
So the key question here is there anywhere else it's worth paying? So there's a bit of a cat and mouse. If they want to put a good band, they know they have to, the budget is sky high. But so they decide not to put a band there and just wait for people to come and enjoy the place. But if people don't enjoy it, then nothing happens.
Right.
So sometimes they have to take the risk and put a really good band, and you got to pay for that value of good band.
Do you think that kind of hype that we used to have, like you said, with a really good band in play, that it would bring partygoers to come back to our local scene?
No.
Why not?
Well, look at it this way. Music is available everywhere.
Okay.
If local bands were doing great back then, or even myself, if people wanted to listen to me sing, we didn't get the opportunity for listening to the original singer, the international artist.
Right.
Okay. So you do with the next best.
Which is the covers.
The cover bands, so we had so many cover bands. We had really good cover bands, even Douglas Olivero, good cover band.
Yeah.
But today, those kind of music has died off. And then you have the more newer stuff, which is nowhere near what it was. And then you have music videos you can watch anytime.
Right.
For me, growing up, I could never see music videos at all.
No MTV yet.
Yeah, nothing. Occasionally you might catch a glimpse of the Jackson 5 performing.
Right.
But it would be more on a like a documentary or whatever, but not the whole song. But today you can get it anywhere and everywhere.
Including on your phone. Spotify.
And international artists just
coming in.
Keep flowing in, whether here or somewhere nearby.
Yeah.
And so why would I want to go out and spend so much money on something else? And then we've also been spoiled by, not spoiled, but, piping music or DJ music. So some people like DJ music, some people like live bands. But then live bands sometimes a bit too noisy. I cannot use my phone. In Cheers, we didn't have handphone. I mean, we had, but not everybody could afford a handphone.
Yeah. And they were not smartphones anyway.
No.
Yeah.
They were your flip phone, your from brick to flip. And so uninterrupted entertainment, socializing with your friends, listening to music. So you had pager, the pager will go up, okay. You got to step aside, go find a phone or use your phone.
Yeah.
Today we have smartphones.
Yeah.
We want to be able to have a conversation with our friends. At the same time, we want to pick up the phone for a conversation, or we want to go in and chat, or we want to check out whatever it is. And at the same time, at the ambience, you got music going on, you got this. Life is so full.
No distractions.
So many distractions.
Yeah, a lot of that. Okay.
So how to put a value on good entertainment?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Sadly.
Yeah, we evolve,
Yeah.
We evolve. But at least we have seniors who enjoy the music of their time, and there are seniors who are still playing the music that seniors enjoy.
Yeah.
And they do their own get-together, which is cheaper. I mean, like, I've had people who come to me and say, hey, why don't you open up a place like Cheers again, It was so wow. You get to listen to Kool and the Gang and blah, 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 blah. And this person who's telling me used to come at least 4 to 5 days a week and will easily spend just on its own $100, right? So if I opened up a concept like that, how often do you think he can come and patronize?
Yeah. It wouldn't be like before.
Once a month?
Probably. Yeah, probably.
So how am I going to survive if you can only come once a month?
Yeah. Are you still looking forward to singing and performing?
I am, but unfortunately right now my energy is really, 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 really low. I wish it was much higher. And of course, I have this charity event with you and Stephen Francis on the 30th of July.
Yeah. And the 1st of August. Yeah.
And I'm hoping that in the next 2 months or 3 months from now, that my health will improve, my energy would improve. I mean, singing is not only just about here, the throat. You got your lungs and your
diaphragm, your entire
complete energy, your body energy. If your body doesn't have energy, it cannot help to push the diaphragm. It cannot help to squeeze the air from the lungs to come out.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that happens.
But it will happen. I'm confident.
Oh, I really want to, because by next year, I really want to perform again and be able to do at least 70% of what I used to be able to do.
Let's not wait till then, because I'm pretty sure you're gonna be great when we work together for the 2 nights of that concert.
I hope so too.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I?
Sorry. Yeah, sure. Go ahead, please.
Hard Rock.
Yeah.
Was one of the most glamorous places I've worked. But I got to thank the bosses for Hard Rock. Yeah. We had so many international artists coming through. And the other wonderful thing with Hard Rock was HBL was the owner of Hard Rock.
Yeah.
HBL was also the owner of
they're still the owners, yeah.
The concert producers. What's their name?
Concert producers.
I mean, they brought in so many international artists like Michael Jackson.
Is it Rock Productions?
No.
No?
No. Oh dear.
LAMC?
Way before that.
Well, who are they, man? I don't remember.
Yeah. But they are part of HBL.
Okay. Right.
So whenever they brought artists such as Michael Jackson or whoever, people at Hard Rock get to enjoy.
Yeah, you guys enjoy the fringes of it.
Yeah. Like when Michael Jackson came here for his last concert here, Hard Rock was automatically the caterer, official caterer.
Yeah.
So in doing so, we get to rub shoulders with all the artists.
Yeah.
And then we also brought in international artists to perform at the cafe, So we got to rub shoulders with so many people.
Well, great experiences, huh?
Great experiences. Even your wrestlers back then.
WWF days.
Undertaker and was it Yokozuna?
Yeah.
All these people.
They were at Hard Rock as well.
Yeah, I had the great giant. I had to stand on top of the chair to have a conversation with them. And they are I have a picture where I have Yokozuna on one side and
Hogan.
Undertaker on the other side.
Okay.
I actually look like the beef patty from McDonald's burger. And they both the buns, that thing. And their fist was as big as my face. Oh, that was a wonderful experience. We got Steve Vai, who came there, and that place was packed like sardines.
Wow.
So many great artists passed through that.
That's not happening anymore, man.
Yeah, well, have to move on now.
But
I even had opportunities to record with so many people. Notably was Tracy Huang.
wow, yeah.
I did Phantom of the Opera.
Wow. Which role do you play? What Phantom? The Phantom? You play the Phantom?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it's a duet, Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, no more talk of darkness. Okay, that duet.
Yeah, that duet. And
All I ask of you, that's the song. Yeah.
no, not that one.
Not that
Just
one.
The Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, that one. The main one. Okay.
Yeah, did that one on my own. Also did that one with her. Had some other Taiwanese singers.
On my own, the one that with James Ingram and Patti LaBelle, that song.
No, Michael McDonald and Patti LaBelle.
Oh, Michael McDonald. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That one. I also did some other Taiwanese singers. I cannot remember their name. Somewhere out there. Yeah, so I was called upon to do a lot of duets back then.
Well, it's funny. Okay.
Yeah, you got Mosquito in here.
It's not Mozzie, it's not
No?
Mozzie. It's a little moth.
Talking about Mosquito, what made me the way I am today is a mosquito. I had dengue in 2019,
Okay.
and it was the worst one. The doctor said I may have had one before, and so what I had was the second, which is why it was really drastic. It was terrible. I immediately lost about 7 kg,
Wow.
and that's when my hair started going off. And my entire energy kind of died off from there.
From dengue.
Yeah. It was a serious one. I struggled with it.
Well, as I said, Robert, I'm confident you're going to get better.
I hope so.
And you're going to be light as the rain when we work together again.
I'm looking forward for that.
Yeah,
I'm looking
so am I. And it's a great segue, by the way, since you spoke, you were talking about hard rock and the experiences you had there. It's a great segue. You know why? Because at this point of the show, I'm going to look at my camera and I'm going to say a very big congratulations to the good people from Shure. Congratulations on celebrating your 100 years of existence, man. I'm churning out great microphones for, my goodness. And Elvis loved your products too. Like me, I love Shure. And also a very big thank you to the good people from E&E. Thank you very much for organizing the 100 years celebrations for Shure at the Hard Rock in Cuscaden Road a couple of days ago. For those of you, you're watching this episode, I can tell you right now, again, don't go away yet. We're ending the show with that soulful, unique voice of Mr. Robert Fernando performing The Way We Were. And until next time, this is Chris Hansen with my guest, Robert Fernando. Thank you for watching the Chris Hansen Conversation. Stay safe, everyone.
Are you sure?
Wait a minute. This time around the screen is a bit different, I've been standing here for 1.5 hours. I didn't get that kind of screen. Is it the saxophone player? How about a big hand for Leo Mendoza, please? Awesome. Great guy. I could only hire him for one song. If not, the women will go wild, Yeah. Well, we're coming to the end. Like every good thing must come to an end. And I know there's so many of you dying to go toilet as well. I could be one of them.
After a certain age, Not yet, huh? Thank you very much. Not bad, lah. For 55, I'm still pretty good. As a matter of fact, for 55, I'm great. Let me tuck in a little. We always talk about the good old days, yeah? So when you listen to songs like this, it really brings back wonderful memories. And that's what songs represent to all of us, It takes you back when you heard the song. Sometimes they're sad memories, but most of the time they're happy. In fact, the wonderful thing is that once you've gone past it, they're all the good old days. Sometimes I hear people talking about the good old days, but didn't you just go through Second World War? But it was still the good old days. So I'm going to do this song called The Way We Were. Can it be that it was all so simple then? Or has time rewritten every line? If we had the chance to do it all again, tell me, could we? Memories like the corners of my mind, misty watercolor memories of the way we were. Scattered pictures of the smiles we left behind, the smiles we gave to one another, for the way we were. Can it be that it was all so simple then? All this time we've written every line. If we had the chance to do it all again, tell me, could we? Maybe beautiful and what's so painful to remember? We simply choose to forget. So laughter. Remember, what a beautiful song, what a beautiful song.